Okay, hey everybody. This is Grace. I am going to go get us something to eat. We have a guy, you gotta have a guy, who's doing some work on our house and lawn and all that. He's cutting down the tree, parts of a tree, limbs, a lot of limbs that's hanging over the fence and shaping it up. Then he's going to tear out the carpet in the master bedroom, sweep the bathroom there and the closet. I guess it's a mess, man. And we're going to have it hardwood floors put in once I go and, if I go, have that angiogram, and then they might have to do surgery. So that's in about a couple weeks, less than a couple weeks, and maybe 10 days or so. Well, around a couple weeks. Okay. Oh, math is hard for me today. Anything's hard for me. I've not been feeling well. But here I am, and this happens so much, and I know I'm not the only person on the planet. It also happens to Adam and other people, I'm sure. You think something or something's going on. Next thing you know, you see it on TV or you see it online. Even if you haven't spoken it, you had just been thinking about it. It doesn't matter. So I know a lot of people. Some people they hear what you're saying or what you're looking up, and then they online they suggest. The AI suggests everything. It's a rabbit hole kind of thing. But I don't know how that would work for TV. Like if you're watching, it would not work for TV, I should say. Like watching a series on something, and the next thing you know, your situation is right there. Mine was that I was watching. I've never been able to watch it before. I tried before to watch a Netflix series, Grace and Frankie, and I grew up watching those two actresses, or those. Well, I don't know about the one of them, but the main characters. But so I don't know why I just couldn't watch it. And I started watching it, I guess yesterday, the day before, whenever it was, again, and I've been able to watch it. And then anyway, one of them had a heart attack, which the surgery they're going to do, they want to find out if I did have a heart attack. And they said that that's one of the things that'll happen. They'll find out if I had a heart attack. And all that bad health crap going on with me. Yeah. And, my thought was moving more toward, and I'm not going to tell them, I don't know. I am not any way, shape, form, or fashion a medical, which was why quite often it would tick me off, because they wouldn't tell me anything. And I would have to figure it out for myself, or they wouldn't know. Like for 2.5 years, kept having stuff grow on me. It was like 10, 11 years ago, I don't know. But for 2.5 years in there, something was growing on my skin. My skin was doing some weird things. And none of them suggested it was a rash that was because of a medication I was taking. I had to figure that out. It took me 2.5 years because I'm not medical. And then this last thing, the weird thing, that I kept having those aches and pains. And it was in the end of December, beginning of January. I don't know. I didn't write down when all of it was happening. And but it was probably 10 days, 2 weeks, somewhere in there. I kept having them like once or twice a day. And one of the things I noticed was that my body temperature was really, really low. I'm in the wrong lane. I want to go this way, not that way. But my body temperature was really, really low, like 94, 94.0, 94.4. So I told my doctor that, and he's a new doctor, and he said, well, it could be that you were dehydrated. And well, he didn't suggest either that I had heart failure. They don't call it. The cardiologist, the two I saw, one in the ER and one the follow-up, they don't say congestive heart failure, chronic heart failure. They just say heart failure. And nobody had suggested that. I had wondered about it for 2 years. April would be was 2 years. I made complaints, not 2 months, 2 years. And nobody, I mean, once again, none of these healthcare so-called professionals did it. Do I sound bitter today? I really am. I'm not that type. It's more like me stating matter of fact, really. There is this whole feeling of I am disappointed, very disappointed in the medical providers I've seen up here. That doesn't mean they're all like that. It means that pretty much every one of them I've seen, they fail. They fail the grade. That's true. That's so true. They don't make the grade. No, because they don't tell me anything. Like, I don't know, is this medically necessary of what I'm having? And if so, then why? Why did the first cardiologist who went on vacation, basically, why did he tell me that, well, it could be anything that caused it, but we can just rule out this stuff, it could be nothing. It's the way he put it. It could be something very light, or I don't remember, I remember him saying something very light. Not the correct wording, but, but we can do it if we do this angiogram and rule out stuff. And then the next thing I know, somebody's calling me. He said, somebody will call you. It was a woman to schedule the appointment, not somebody to explain it to me. What was it that he found? What was, he said somebody would call me. And then when she called me, she was a royal and acting like, well, you have to ask your doctor. Well, you'll have to ask the hospital. And so I called their triage nurse, because eventually, and she called them, and that woman called me back real fast with the right answers. It wasn't the same day that I did all that, but she called me back with the correct answers. This BS I'm so tired of. But anyway, as I was saying, those really bad aches and stuff, body, horrible. It was so horrible. I thought I was dying. During the end of December, early January. After all that I've heard, I've started wondering, which I shouldn't be having to wonder. Somebody should be telling me. Well, could that have been little heart attacks? Back to back to back to back to back. Really, seriously. Could it have? I had wondered then. I say it as though I had. Why I was feeling awful. And I would explain to them everything. Went to the ER, I don't know how many times, explain it to them. Look, this is what is going on. And at the hospital, at the doctor's office, this is what's happening. And I read online, it said that a person could have what they call silent heart attack. It's called silent heart attack. Okay, I got here and I looked at the time. I don't think they start selling lunch until 20 more minutes. Oh, wow. Okay. But anyway, and the thing that I wonder, I looked it up silent. I didn't look it up as silent heart attack. But the things that I was describing to them that was happening is within those, within that definition of that. That's what it showed up. And especially that thing that I kept telling them repeatedly, whichever healthcare provider I spoke to at the time, that my bottom gums, they were like around the jaw, the bottom part, the gums and the jaw and all that, all the way down to basically kind of like, maybe not totally all the way to my waist, but, and then all the way to my fingertips. I was having body aches, not pains, not like anything shooting pain or anything like that. It was just awful like muscles tightening, and or like when you get sick with the flu, think of it worse than that. Okay, worse than those body aches you get with the flu. I don't know how other people experience it, but to me it's also, I can't take statins, for cholesterol, because it does the same kind of thing, and they're awful. I can't take them because that body aches like the flu. And so this, like I said, it was all those, and the jaw thing. And I looked it up, and it said jaw. I mean, why are these so-called health professionals, why would they not know that? I don't trust what I read on the internet, and like I said, I am in no way medical, so maybe they know more or they don't know. Which one it is, well, I don't know. I'm in no way a voice of authority. Anything I say could be really wrong, so I'm not saying it as the voice of authority at all. And I don't trust, like I said, usually don't trust what I read on the internet. I used to say I trust only 2% of it, and then that I doubt. I didn't let my students look stuff up on the internet, so yeah, here comes somebody walking. I don't know what, it's kind of scary. There was a guy walking, and it just gave me a strange vibe. I'm just gonna put it that way. Lately I've been saying vibe. Anyway, the whole thing, so I looked it up, looked something up, and it showed up that's what it connected it to. And I do wonder, to me, I remember thinking, man, to just survive those aches, just to survive it was, so difficult. And I would have like 1 or 2 a day. I'd say average 1 to 2, or not average, but you know what I'm saying. I don't know if I ever had more than 2, but I remember sometimes I'd wake up and it was like, oh, there it was, really bad. But I was, I've been thinking since then, I must have a really determined body to withstand what I did. The thing about that is, at the same token, it's not, it kind of might be this way because of my rare health condition. My rare health condition actually doesn't allow me to feel pain. I know pain. I'm not sure about aches, but pain the way other people do. Okay, like my arms, and they even say this, that it's a rare health condition. I'm not going to name it, but I did way in the past, but no more. But my arms, my lower arms, I will have bruises or cuts even, or both, or whatever, and I'm not even sure how it happened. Usually I am, because the blood would be fresh, like if it, so I know I just scratched something wherever I was, on something. And, but bruises, it's like, I have no idea, and that happens quite often. And it used to, and I haven't had it in a while now. I haven't, that's a lie, because I have. I have one right now. Sure do. Look, I see. And one of them's fading. And they're not always big. They're like little bruises. And little tiny sometimes. And I don't feel it. I don't know that it's happening. I don't feel it. Plain and simple, don't feel it. So, okay, now do I ever feel pain? Yes. Yes. So, but something that's more light, like just getting some people would say getting a bruise is not something light. But the way my body is, that's something light. The way my brain thinks on it. But like I say, I don't feel the same. So that kind of worries me, that those body aches that were so bad, so horrible, I was feeling, how much would it have been if I felt like most people do? You see what I'm saying? Boy. this stuff is dramatic, man. Let me tell you. But you know, I'm not a dramatic person, and my whole life is wrapped around people who are very dramatic, very, very dramatic. I mean, drama queens, drama kings, you know, histrionic, like people with histrionic personality disorder. And that's along with the cluster B and the DSM, along with antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder. And I've seen more of them with the behaviors of, I don't diagnose, the behaviors of histrionic personality disorder quite often. You know, it's so weird to me. You know, and yes, I have done the thing of blaming the victim and saying, what did I do that, you know, makes my life like this, that I have these people in my life? What am I doing wrong? You know, it attracts them, da-da-da. You know, that's blaming the victim. You're blaming yourself. And when you're blaming yourself on something like that, that's blaming the victim, yourself. So, but I try real hard not to blame the victim, but I'm not perfect with it. Yeah. But right now, the difficulty in my life is finding what to eat. Like right now, I'm going to get a hamburger. Well, he has that guy there. He wants me to get them both a meal, you know. Speaking of, I'm going to get them both a meal. And I can't, as the closer it comes to the time, the more I feel like I'm out of breath again. And I can just swell up so fast for anything. Just, you know, get swollen. And that's when I get out of breath. And there's also something to do with the house. You know, in the morning, usually I go in and get in my SUV and I'm fine. But in the morning, the air is just so heavy. I think it's just the lack of circulation because, you know, it's like we set it on 74 usually, our air conditioner. And at night, because the lack of circulation, I'll put it on 72. But it still doesn't circulate the air. We have ceiling fans or fans. But yeah, it'll be, it's just like it's so heavy. And, you know, we have a big 2-story house, open, all this stuff, really open, vaulted ceiling. The living room, the upstairs looks down on the living room. You know, because the ceiling is vaulted in the living room, the center of the house. And, but it's because I think the biggest thing is Adam smokes. Like chain smoke. He's like a chain smoker. And he is supposed to not be smoking. Everybody's supposed to not be smoking. Okay, I'm not a healthcare person, remember. But yeah, he shouldn't be smoking. Shouldn't is the word I should use. We've all been warned. And, you know, I've quit smoking. September will be, or the end of August, the beginning of September, that will be 3 years for me. I don't remember, but I did smoke a short while. I tried smoking again and quit. Oh, it was awful. And it was awful that I did that because I mean, to me, it's like, I don't want it, you know. And it was like 2 years or so, I don't remember how long. Just over 2 years before I tried again. So that was stupid of me. But my brain hasn't been functioning well enough. I joke, kind of a joke, you know. But making those kind of decisions, doing something like that. Anyway, I'm gonna go get us something to eat, see what happens. I think they are supposed to cook these all day long. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, they were cooking both lunch and dinner. I mean, breakfast and lunch. And dinner, I guess you'd say. But anyway. So anyway, the bad thing, to get back to this, why am I getting food? Because I cannot stand and cook very long. Or be, you know, especially during the time that the house has that heavy feeling to it. And I like right now, I'm in here and I am in my SUV, no problem. You know, but I'll wheeze every once in a while. Or, yeah, it makes a little noise. But I don't know how that is connected to the you know, that sounds like a song, doesn't it? How it's connected to the other issues. What's going on with it all? And I'm really not happy with him not telling me. But anyway, cooking is a problem. Okie dokie. But anyway, so what was I when I was talking about? What's a 5-duo trio deal? Don't know. Anyway, you know, I was just thinking that, you know, I was thinking about those other times that wasn't, come on, Birdie, go on, that wasn't connected to it, that I had weird feelings, just weird body aches all of a sudden. Like the time that I told Adam, I remember it was so funny to me, but I felt like I couldn't. I remember even saying back then, I cannot describe it. I cannot describe the feeling that I was having, body feeling. It was more like an ache, but I really couldn't describe it that way either. It wasn't a pain. And it just came out of the blue, and I told him, and I remember thinking, you know, I'm okay if I die. Whoa, that was a big one. And that has happened with all these weird things, you know. That thought of I'm okay. You know, I'm okay with it. Ooh, scary. Seriously. But my mind would feel during the while just like I was in a brain fog or something, just dazed and confused and something. And I remember the funny one was that one I was talking about when I thought, you know, I'm okay if I die. And the biggest one I thought, you know, it's just can't describe the feeling, the physical part of it. And I remember telling Adam one, you know, Adam, I said, you know, we're at home, we're in our home, and I said, do you have any soup? I still think it's funny because actually in my kitchen on the side, one of the side walls where the sink is, it's on the side of where the microwave is. It has its own little wall, the microwave, but it's on the side of it and it says diner. I have a sign up there, diner. So, and he said, no, I don't have any soup, but he found some ramen noodles and, you know, pack it and made it for me. And because for some reason my brain says I have to have that sodium. I must have that sodium. And, you know, that's like the opposite of what I've been told. And I was thinking maybe I had gone too low on it or something, because I was doing really, really low sodium. Don't ask me. That goes against what I learned in cultural or physio anthropology. It goes against it, kind of. But anyway, he made me some and I ate it. But once I ate it, or drank it more like, I went and laid down on the bed and I was like, well, I'm okay if that's what happens. That's what's going to happen. You know, if I'm going to die. I mean, weird. That's so weird for me to think that I was like that. And I fell asleep, passed out, fell asleep, I don't know. And when I woke up, I was fine. I was just fine. No problem at all. Just fine. It's like weird. Was it really that lack of sodium, you know? Like I said, it's about it was either cultural or physio. I would think it was physio. Anthropology, that was my minor for a while. Anthropology. And man, if I had to do it all over again, I was going to go on a dig at UTA, University of Texas, Arlington. And I was going dig. But I didn't for some reason. I wish I would have. Way back then. But anyway, might have changed my life. Anyway, why it worked that way, I don't know. Really, I don't know. Why my brain, needed that. But those classes, they taught that, but then again, it is acclimation maybe. Or just the tribes, some of the tribes, they would kill a wild boar like once a year. So they would have their sodium. That's what I remember now, but we went into more detail back then, so don't take my word on it. I'm kind of rambling, huh? But I'm hungry. I didn't eat much yesterday at all. Like I said, it's difficult for me, so what I wind up doing is just putting some meat, and my body's rejecting meat lately. Not rejecting it, I just don't feel the hunger for it. And but I just put it was taco meat, so that Fiesta's Mexican taco meat. But I just put it in the oven and put it on some chips. I counted out 7 chips or something like that. It's a real little amount, and it was awful. I used to make nachos all the time, but I just don't have the energy. Plus, I didn't have any shredded cheese, and I just don't have the energy to do it. It's weird, because I have energy to, I stay awake, I watch TV, but I go into the room because I can't lay on the bed too long. That causes really bad, not sores or anything like that, but just uncomfortable. My body, especially the sides of my sides. Yeah. Okay, I don't know where you would think you were going behind me, but that light is red. You see that? So why did you come up to me? I have to slam on your brakes. Jeez. It's got to happen at least once. Some idiot, at least once. Especially on this road. This road is 35 miles per hour. There's another one that's 30. And it's like 2 roads over from here, or one big road. And the people, of course, there's going to be somebody there, and there's always somebody, behind me or behind the person in front of me or something, tailgating because they want to go faster. I saw that even when there was a police there, pulled somebody over, give them ticket, people would fly by them. It's like they don't care. It doesn't matter to them. So what big deal? They're gonna go their speed, whatever they want to. Period. And that's just too bad. Like there's gonna be an idiot. And these people need to realize these are like big bullets here. You're driving this big machine, and you hit somebody, you could kill them. Do you need to be tailgating? Do you need to be so close? You think it's going to get you somewhere faster? Good chance you're wrong. I wave at them as I pass them at the light. Yeah, and I've said that so many times, and I've proved it so many times. And wave at them as I pass them at the light. These things are synced, synced. And by the way, that SUV was still tailgating me. Idiots. I was raised where you don't call people stupid. You don't call them idiots or dumb. Or you don't tell people to shut up. Those were the biggest things when I was a kid. We were taught both family and then in school, I think. And it just lasted through my life. But the older I got, I have said I think I'm going through my second childhood. But now I'm more like stupid. It's still not the same. Yeah, anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I was gonna see if all the birds and the stuff nobody's eating. They have some bird feeders. I guess the wind might be taking them because one of them's missing. Anyway, wrap it up. Talk to y'all in another video. Bye.